Coffee and Guitars, this is for you. So you can see in the comment here that today I was asked by this individual if I could go ahead and do a tutorial for it. And I asked how extensive he wanted it, and he said the whole song, so why not? I am going to bust it into parts, but it's likely just going to be in this video. So without too much further ado, I do want to say, and I mean this sincerely, that I believe in teaching men to fish, people to fish, in modern parlance, as opposed to just giving them a fish. So yeah, you'll eat for a day, but I want you to pick up some skills about how you'll be able to do this yourself. So on the end of the video, and scattered throughout, so you don't just skip the end, I'm going to be adding what I think are good tips. So, I mean, hey, who the heck am I? I'm a guy who just bumped into this microphone. So let's get to it. All right, we're starting with John's part, which is an acoustic bit. It's not acoustic at all, of course, it's electric. John, if you watch how he plays it live, which I highly recommend doing because I was playing it wrong with the right notes until I watched him do it. And there's a couple of things that I should say about that I think are kind of important. There's something to be said for a clean tone. Yeah, the tone should be pretty clean, but he is using a bridge pickup, mostly because I don't think he has a neck pickup installed in his guitar. The bridge pickup is on. He is on a clean channel, but I think that there's still something pushing the front end, so if you're running a clean, add a little bit of a boost to it. So the same boost you would use like level up, drive all the way down, like on a tube screamer or something like that to drive the front end of the amp. You can do the same thing here because he's got a little bit of crispness, a little bit of bite in the clean, a little reverb too. So let's get on with it though. How he's holding the pick matters a little bit here too. So instead of just picking a string as you would normally pick it, nice and crisp, like with a little bit of a springiness. A lot of technical terminology, right? He's kind of brushing the string. So the string, the pick is hitting the string and then just kind of pulling through. He's not really hitting it very hard. Loose grip on the pick. So lighten up on how hard you're picking. That's one. And for two, I'm going to keep using that bright blue pick. It's a Dunlop ball, but still, or Misha Mansour deal. Just because, it stands out. Anyway, so the first chord is an A, and they tune just a little sharp. I don't think they're actually tuned. I think they're tuned to E, but I think the reel-to-reel tapes back in the day may have not been recording exactly the right speed, so it's about 15 cents sharp, so if you've got a tuner, move it up just a little tiny bit, and then it should sound right. Otherwise, you'll always sound out of key with it. So you can tune it up or run an algorithm on it and tune them down just a hair, but just a little sharp of, 440. So, A, power chord, basically. It's just an A5, A5, A, and I'm going to use notes, and I'm going to use some, like 13 fret numbers, but I'm going to use notes where I can, and I'll say scale names where I can, and hopefully not be too off about it. So we have an A, and fingering is key here. You could hold it like this, but if you did, you wouldn't have... So strategically, you should place your fingers in a place that'll make it easier to play whatever you're playing next. Sometimes that's impossible, but in this case, it's totally possible. Use your third finger and your second finger, second fret, A note, E note, open A. And that's here. And you're going to play effectively as A7. So you have an open G. You have that F there, open D. B flat down as your, so it's an A to B flat. And technically that puts this key It could put it in a couple of different places, but the key that they play the lead in, John plays his lead, B minor, which puts this effectively in A. Phrygian. Pretty neat, huh? If you didn't know that, now you know that, because those are relative minors. But anyway, going on with that, or F major if you really wanted to get down to brass tacks, but you know, that's just the root. So, that turns it into a minor 6. Fourth, but in the fourth case, because there's no third, it'd be suspended. Flat 5. And that's the part that I used to not play right. So, nope. So this 6th chord is open G. And I learned that by watching them do it live. So John's just there. He never leaves this position, and this is what he's doing. This is how he has to be doing it. So you see, that's the other part that I wasn't playing right before. Well, I played it right in the video, but I didn't play it right before, you know, back when I was learning it originally. So that that's big. That little dun 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 dun. You can just do. Doesn't sound right. It sounds right. It sounds close. But as soon as you play it the right way, it's like, oh yeah, that's the way you do it. That's it. So there you go. That's essentially the intro. What happens after that, you get Glenn doing the big roll on the drums and then da-da. So for that, we're going to switch guitar channels here. And now we're playing. This is behind the guitar solo. Well, actually, it's behind the. So, screwed up on that, but that's okay. You get the general idea. A, B flat, B flat. So, and that continues on. So, under John's coming up lead is, which I think is doubled with. So, I think they actually do it up here for a little bit. Same thing again. Now, I don't know how advanced you are. I got a cat running around in here. He does that a lot. But the picking isn't so much. I want you to dig in order to play it the way it sounds, because that's the point of us playing other people's stuff, right? Is playing what we're listening to. And so we should listen to ourselves to make sure that we're sounding like what it is that we want to sound like. So that, there's kind of a bounce here. I'm literally taking this part of my hand for muting. Don't know how advanced you are, like I said before. And I'm placing it right around here. And you can go back too far. Come on and figure out where the right spot is. Now, I'm not pressing down. My hand's just touching it. It's just resting there. Anchored, you could say. And when I'm playing that chord, I'm not holding it down the whole time. So when I hit it, that's all I need to do is hit it while it's being hit. And then I can take my finger up and mute the strings while I'm hitting that one single string. So press. Right? Okay, so with that, beginner lesson out of the way. John's lead. So, in the beginning, when they go, John is already holding the root of that note at the 7th fret, it's an A, 7th fret of the D string. And just, while it's, right? So, more A, B flat. Just holding the roots here. Up to the 5th of that, which is an F. Down to A, or E, which is the 5th of E. So now there's a couple of faster passages, and I'm not sure if they're completely correct to the way he plays them, but I think they sound right. So, in other words, I'll tell you what I know. Starting on your E. So that's E, F, E, D, or the 12th fret of the next string down, the D string. Back up to E. So you can just work on that part as a single piece. If you like. So, and that would be 10, 8. Then the position shift down kind of quickly to C, E, D, C, D, E, B flat, and A. So not really digging that. Just pretty much whenever there's supposed to be an accent on a note, you hit it. Okay? That's it. Okay, so the next part, we're now on the next grouping of strings, so A and B. This is just a half step. The half step is the distance between two frets. It's also a semitone, right? That's a neat sound. Might have to use that with something someday. This is a whole step, or 2 semitones. Skip a fret. So, next fret, skip a fret. This is, if you're wondering, C, B, A. So, you see what I did there with the octaves? If you know the notes on one string, and you know what an octave is, you now know where to find those notes. Same notes, different strings. Pretty easy. And if you're out of tune, you can do the same thing here. Excuse me. Wait a minute. That's something wrong. Same thing. You can figure out where notes are pretty easily that way. So with this part, and that's a... So I hear him doing a... he might just be... But I hear... And so I put one in. So... And all those... The notes on... Not the notes, but the fret numbers for all of that is either half step, whole step, or... step, half step on those two strings. It's either 7, 8, 10 or 5, 7, 8, right? So, the grading on the E notwithstanding. So now we're taking it up. So when I first figured it out, but John plays higher on the neck usually. He likes to play up here a bunch, and the sound was thicker to me. So I thought, I'll bet he's playing it higher on the neck. And so when I did, I thought, that sounds right. So that's why I played it there. So the suggestion also is, instead of playing where your picking hand would normally be, come forward a bit. The strings sound bigger. So or just before the next pickup. So that does matter. Moving your picking hand around to change the inflection of a note does matter. So it'll sound bigger and looser up here. It'll sound smaller and tighter back here. So if you're picking down here, big difference, right? So anyway, that's just something else to pay attention to. Again, you should listen to yourself. When you're playing it, does it sound like what they're doing? If not, maybe change how you're picking, maybe do a little bit of different gain setting, sure, but a lot of the sound has to do with how you're playing. So maybe change, alter your picking attack. Instead of playing flat, play it with an angle. See if that makes a difference. Maybe use a thicker pick. Maybe use a thinner pick. Never can tell. Maybe instead of playing it back here, play it up there. Maybe you don't mute so hard. Maybe mute in a different place. It really is helpful. So listen to yourself. It's very important. So this, once again, thank you. So A Phrygian. This is just the F major scale. An octave higher. And so, starting on the A, sounds familiar. And we're going to do a pedal tone lick. Counterpoints, pedal tone really. And starting off with two picks. That's all it is. A to B flat. And every other note's going to be this A. Go up 2 more frets and hit the C. Now hit the D on the next string. Now hit the E on that same next string. Then F. Then E. So it's a nice, iconic statement. Yeah. Now we're going to echo what we were playing down here. And this kind of repetition is good for building motifs. So we go a little bit further up. And it's just whole step for these. So all he does there is a similar thing with this here. I think the male's here. Okay, so as I was saying, very iconic. So let's break that down. And all these frets, 17, 19, then 15, 17, 19, 15, 17. Use it wherever you want. Great licks. So once we've done that, we're going to go right up the the E Locrian scale. But still, since we're still spending our time with this rhythm, so that's going to sound like this. Now we're going to descend, but we're still ascending. So each note that we descend in 3 here notes with is going to start with a subsequently higher note in the same scale. This is extremely scalular, and believe me, I appreciate that. It makes it much easier to learn if you already know the scales and they play it with the scales. So Anthony Bramantes is going to be a different story. Stay tuned. So, and again, I'm down picking this, and I'm not down picking it where I would normally pick. I'm coming forward just a little bit, and it rounds the note out just a hair. So that's 12, 13, 15. 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 15, 14, 12, 17, 15, 14, 19, 17, 15. I'm not sure, in fact, he may do it a different way, and I'll show you the alternate. I chose to play it like this. Okay, slowing that part down. Again, all the way. And in fact, that first one is... So there's a little bounce. Like, he wanted this finger to be there, and it just didn't make it on time, but it was still kind of rhythmic. (17, 18, 17, 18, 14, 15, 14, 15). So these two are the same. It's just octaves. It's power chord, just like power chord. Now we're going to run down the scale. (12, 12, 13, or A, B flat if you prefer, 12, or A. Must we continue with both? 10, 8, so G, F, E, B, or C, D, A. And the rhythm behind it does the same thing, but an octave lower. Same thing. Anyway, then they wait a little bit, and the main rhythms start. So there's two different ways of playing that. The first way is one way, and the second way is another. So there's two different ways of playing that. The first way is... The second way is... Listen for the difference in between the two. He always does this the second way, just before he sings. And right after the solo, there is one where that happens as well. But listen to the differences, and I think the differences matter. Realistically, you want your music to be similar, but also have variations. It catches the ear, it plays with the rhythm, it makes the listener happy, and if you're the person who wrote it, it might make you happy too. So don't just play the same thing. Throw something in. But, you know, do it sparingly. Don't do it all the time. Do it, you know, do stuff. But, you know, mix it up a little. I think that's what they do here. So, this is basically an E Locrian song after the A Phrygian. Same. All exactly the same notes. These are relative keys. This is just, it starts at a different starting point. It has a different basis of sound, a different root, a different tonal center. So this is E Locrian, as I was saying before, and you're going to play this chord. So B, it's just in basically fret 7 E power chord. Now, the chords that he plays with that, after that, that's to E diminished, to F. So basically you're just flatting this one note, then bringing the rest of them up. You can play it this way, or get some finger exercise if you want. It doesn't matter to me. D, F. So, and that's the thing with the picking. We'll go over that really quickly. It's intricate, but it's really kind of a loose intricate, and that's a hard thing to really get. So you're because you want to hear. So you want to hear those rhythmic, you know. And at the same time, you're going to be picking in between. So. So, all in all, though, and I'll play it slowly with you. Now, on to the chorus. Could be a bridge. If it is, it's a bridge too far. They don't have a set, solid way of playing this. And neither do I. It kind of floats around. Because, like I said before, if you can do tunings, C, C, those here, there are different places you can play it. And I kind of systematized it, and I kind of saw them kind of doing the same thing. But honest to God, John is just a ridiculous rhythm player. He can play anything he wants anywhere. And he does. He's not even paying attention, it seems, half the time. And he's just going nuts all over it. He's just one of the best rhythm guys out there. So, and, you know, to keep up, it's just a complete joy. It's like childhood dreams, you know, come to life. So, but at any rate, and keep up, though, as in, like, I can play what he's playing, but I can't play it the way he's playing. So, you can do it this way. All power chords, which is, when I do this, it's kind of, you know, the classical, you know, way of doing it. I can play other chords that way, too, if I wanted to. You could do the what Slayer made popular. You know. That's not right, though. This is where I change, and I've seen him do it. We're not in the same key anymore. we've now modulated to A Locrian. So because those are the fifths. Same. But this is closer. All right, the mosh part. And I'm going to refer to it as the mosh part because more people need to refer to these parts as mosh parts instead of a breakdown. It's a mosh part. Everybody want, yeah, come on, you want to wiggle your head. You got to get loose and move. So that is unusual, but not alien. Two open strings here, the A and the D string. It's effectively making like a really heavy D chord. Hammer on. The thing is, I didn't used to play it like that. I figured it out differently. And then I watched them live, and then I saw them play it like that. And I thought, oh, well, it doesn't really sound like that to me, but that's what they're playing, so that must be it. And so that's what I'm teaching you. My hearing says... but it's not it, so it's... It's a pretty far stretch, in fact. Just like this. Just going down a third. And you can hammer on with it if you do these. Mix it up. So let's talk about downpicking, because that is downpicked, and some people have trouble with downpicking, and I think it's only because they haven't done it enough. But also, the only way you can get better at something is to continually do it. And understand that just like when you walk, you can only walk so fast before your legs feel like they're going to break, and you have to change your stride. So it's the same with we talk about horses in the same way. You're just like, I can't walk any faster, and so you have to kind of pick it up and jog. And then running is a different, thing, and sprinting is its own thing. Same with a horse. You get the horse, it's got the walk, the trot, the gallop, the full blown, picking up all four legs at a time, running type of thing. Cheetah, same type of deal. So our picking hands are no different. Our fret hands are really no different too, but that's a different story. We'll talk about the picking hand though. So when I'm just normally down picking, I don't really pay attention to exactly what it is that I'm doing anymore. But when I'm going quickly, it is not the same stroke as when I'm playing. Not at all. This is more of a direct trigger, so I'm kind of relying on wrist going inwards like this. I don't know if you can see that very well, but this, you can feel it through here. And I'm literally hitting the string and then pulling back around. It's not making a circle exactly, it's kind of making a quick V. I mean, there is a circle motion happening, but I'm imagining, I should say, a V. The downward stroke is very deliberate, and that's where I'm turning here just slightly. It's not very much, just watch. Because I can't do that if I'm picking normally. The same type of deal goes for alternate picking. If I'm alternate picking really, but I'm trying to be Ingve. My picking hand takes on a different approach than if I'm just normally. It's at that point I'm angled this way a little. You hear about downward pick slanting, and I can kind of do that. That's where my down pick comes in. But this doesn't really work for me. If I angle the pick this way, my hand actually comes up a little, tighten up a little bit, and slant the pick downwards. I get this great little angle that allows me to change strings very quickly. Even at weird, tangents like this. And it's fun. All right, so you now know how to play all of the rhythms. Let's talk about the crazy genius of the Anthony Bramante solo. So, Anthony starts with a very intricate phrase. It's very hard to play. What you really need to do to get this right is to have a guitar with a tremolo arm. I'm not going to play with one today.
Are you sure about that?
I'm just going to play with this, and I'm going to do this. That is any finger you want on the G string, and I'm going to move the guitar up and then down again, and up and then down again. And you're going approximately to the 17th fret, somewhere around there. It's not exact, and I don't think he was being exact either. And to me, that sounds like you're revving up a chainsaw, or you're going through gears really, really quickly on something very fast with a small engine. So that whole is followed up by something where the bar is included. So when you're playing with a bar, depress the bar slightly, and it's these two notes, which is natural harmonics on the 7th fret of the two middle strings, so the D and the G string. This would be an F sharp, and that would be a note 2. See, sweetheart. Followed by these two notes here, which is a G and a B. So, and it does work. Maybe I should get. All right, magic of television. So I was using the other guitar because it's easier to see my fingers on it, but this is pretty much what he does. So after that, so there's a harmonized part there, and I'll teach the harmony too. I should make you figure it out. But at any rate, there is goes up to the 17th fret on the B string, which is an E note. E flat. So E flat. Next string down, C, B, B flat, B. With the bar. Same. We're going to stick around that kind of shapy thing a lot in a minute. So now, from there, I have to confess that I had absolutely no idea really what he was doing. I get kind of an idea. I mean, I heard, but I didn't really know for sure because there's so much going on. There's a lot of, in the record itself, there's a lot of noise that, it's reverb, and there's guitar effects going on. Bramante's got some sort of like a chorus going on over everything, and it's very, it's harder to hear. So I really didn't know from then on exactly what he was doing. Live tapes to the rescue again. So what I was hearing here. Well, that was somewhat right. He started it here. And he stopped and did a vibrato. Something like that. That was it. So, I'll teach that to you then. So, where are we at? We're at, G, F sharp, so 12 and 11. That's 9/11. 9/11. I hit a harmonic, I'm sorry. My mistake. Oh, that's a neat little trick, by the way. You can hit. And that's kind of how artificial harmonics are made. We're literally picking a note, and then a little fat of our finger is hitting the harmonic node at just the right time. And so all artificial harmonics are really, it's the same thing as Van Halen was doing there. Artificial harmonics. Same thing as that. So, in a way, all artificial harmonics are natural harmonics. It's funny. Going on with the story. They have then gone, though, through... That's a minor third. That's two semitones, also known as a half step and a whole step together. So there's 2 frets missing here. 1 skip, 2 frets, you got that. Minor third. What's the difference between a minor and a major third? 1 fret. Major third. Minor, major. Like this, in a chord. Minor third. Major third. It's sometimes not easy to see that this is the third from here. But it is. It's just like here. Why is it a third? It's the third note in the scale. If the major scale was played from that root note right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octave. That's an octave of the flat 3. This is an octave of the major 3 from there. So you can just play that there. Nice. Isn't that lovely? So going on with the chord theory there. The third note of a scale is what determines whether it's a major or a minor chord that goes along with it. So that's it. What is it, if it was in a major scale, what does it look like in relative to the major scale here? Well, the major scale looks like this. But the note is here. It's a flat 3, it's a minor. That's that simple. It's that easy. So music theory is not hard. It's just overly complex for reasons. Go figure. But there's nothing to it. So this... 8, 9, 8, 9, or E flat, E, E flat, E. C, E flat, C, E flat. That's what I got from his live performance. Now, I'm not even sure if he's doing that, but that bridges the gap between what I think I'm hearing and, or at least the notes that I'm pretty sure that he's playing and what I see his fingers doing. So, in reality, it's just like the Adam Savage thing. I don't know how much I can tell you, but I'll tell you what I know. So the next thing he plays, I could not tell at all what he was playing on the album. I had no idea. Maybe it was... I had no idea. No, as it turns out, he's not. If you watch the live footage again... something like that. Which is kind of a Gary Moore thing. Gary Moore used to do that. Type of thing a lot, and probably just as sloppy as I just did it. But this is kind of like here. Got it? 4/5. 5/4. That is 5/4 5/4. That's 7, or F sharp. Now for this, we're going to head down in increasingly chirpy sounding notes. It doesn't hit that. Okay. Okay. And there's that harmonic. Back to the main rhythms. Well, Guitars and Coffee and whoever might get anything else out of this, I hope that it was helpful. I have no idea exactly how much it was helpful, but I do hope that it was helpful. I hope I played slow enough and was clear enough about where people are doing things, and the information that I gave, I do hope, was helpful insofar as like, all right, that's where he's playing it. All right, this is how it's done. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just a guy covering the stuff. I did not write it. I'm doing the best I can, just like anybody else, trying to figure out what it is these magicians on these instruments that we have been listening to for ages now, or in my case, ages. I started playing in 1988, and coincidentally, I started listening to these guys 3 months before I actually started playing. So they were heavy influences of mine, all the way back from the beginning. But here's a fun part, or at least a fun part to me. I didn't learn any of their stuff. I mean, really, I didn't learn anything of theirs until 2021. Why? Because I thought learning stuff other people did took the magic away. And I thought maybe it's about time at that point to just go ahead and, drop the ball. Now, they weren't the first ones I did that with. That was back in around 2020 where I just started going ahead and learning other people's stuff, doing covers. But, yeah, man, I hadn't learned a cover song since like 1994, 95, maybe 96. And that was the end of that. I just, did my own thing and, whatever, played cover songs that I already knew how to play. But yeah, I very rarely pick up on new things. It doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is that these cats need more attention than they've been getting their entire careers. Glenn Evans is probably one of the best drummers I've ever heard. He's solid as a rock. He's a pounder. You don't get drummers like that anymore. You get these clinicians, and he feels it, man. Look, there's a spot in this song where the tempo speeds up. And I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it felt real. It felt visceral. It felt like they meant it. And it felt like they were really vibing on it. It was really, really good. And of course, that's the mosh part. And they just kind of sped it up. Now, so I have no idea if they played with the click track, but I suspect they didn't. I just suspect they didn't have to. So, but I think more music should be kind of made like that nowadays. And that's just me, going on an old fogey, okay, not boomer, I'm a Gen Xer, type of thing. Rant. Anyway, if you have any more questions about anything, please do let me know. It's not like I've got all the time in the world. I mean, I've got cats and my wife, and I've got more hobbies than I probably should because they keep me distracted. And of course, I work for a living. So, but if you have any questions and I have the time, I'd be happy to be able to do something like this again and get back to you. Well, in a relatively short amount of time. That extends to anybody out there on YouTube, too. Take care of yourselves. Oh, one last quick thing. Let me show you something I think you might find very interesting that may make me unnecessary for things like this in the future. So here we are again. This time we're going to be taking a look at my cover. And I'm going to do something that I normally would do when I'm looking at live footage from somebody else that I'm trying to learn something from. Watch and learn. If you have trouble picking up on things at this kind of pace, do the John Petrucci scan. I can kind of do that nowadays myself, but it takes years. He's ridiculously good. So go down here to this cog. Now, if your player looks like this, that's fine. You can do that way, and I highly recommend using a browser for this, not the YouTube app. People have more apps than they need, and notice I don't have any recommendations because I have that turned off. It's kind of neat. So go to here, go to playback speed. I think a siren's going off. Go to playback speed and turn it down. Now I do have this, which is an extension called Enhancer for YouTube, and I've heard that this is the thing that allows you to turn it even slower, which is nice. But so if you're using a Chromium-based browser, that's Opera, Brave, Vivaldi, Chrome, whatever, Scent, go ahead and grab this. Just go to the Chrome Web Store. They can all use the Chrome Web Store. Download it. It'll say, "Are you sure?" And you go, "Yes." You install it, configure it, do whatever you want, and it's just a nice thing. So and that's why my player bar here is purple. But at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and slow me down to quarter speed, and we'll watch that. Okay, so I have a minor caveat from the instructional portion of the video itself. Obviously, I played that differently than what I did in showing it. So the thing was, I learned something and then forget it usually, the next, I've done it? All right, that mountain's climbed. Let's go climb the next mountain. So, and that's just the way I am. So what I could have done is watch myself play it and learn what I did there and then show you guys what I did, but I didn't. But now you guys know how to do it. And so with that kind of armament, with that kind of tool in your kit, so to speak, you too can go out and do exactly what I did in the first place, which was, figured it out by ear, but then I watch live footage and slow it down if I have to. The Anthony Bramante stuff I certainly did. And then figure it out that way. And while it's fresh in my memory, the next day or the same day, hit the record button and, you get something like this. A real sarcastic, snarky dude, scruffy old, almost 50-year-old, hammering out some old thrash hits because he loves them. Be well out there, everyone. Take care.